Hey everyone. Welcome to Solicitous. Welcome back to Solicitous. It is Nova here. Um Today I'm going to touch on something a little different. It's not something I had originally planned. Um Hope everybody can hear me well. It's something that's going on right now in my community. Um, it's having quite an effect and impact on everyone here in the community. And so there are other things that I had planned. I'm going to do a bit of a follow up to me being on Marilyn Honing's channel, the video her and I had did together, and a little bit of follow-up to that, just some things that I was saying, um, and, some some things that Echoplex Dave has stated in his own words. Yeah, and, I will be touching on some, cult stuff there as well, things that are affecting people here in Canada and the US, and one of them in particular, globally. And it's probably the worst one out of the ones I'm going to be touching on. But for today, we are going to touch on, really dive into what's going on here in the community I live in. We have 2 missing very young children, 4 and 6, who went missing, and my lighting's not the greatest, I'm just gonna up a little bit, and they went missing on, uh, May 2nd, uh, 10 o'clock in the morning, approximately 10 o'clock in the morning. Their names are Jack and Lilly, Sullivan. They're quite young, and I have, blue blind and orange curtains, so it really gives a different hue on my face if I put that blind up too much, then it's going to totally blur my face out, but I do want some light. Um, and sometimes that's why my face looks so orangey or red is because of the orange curtains glowing off my face. Anyways, back to the kids. They went missing. So I'm gonna just pull up and they're still missing. Today is we're into, ground search and rescues into the 4th the 4th day of looking for these children. I paused there for a little bit because I'm also, gonna be checking out what's going on over at Susie. She's on she's coming on live, and, I do wanna pop in there and say hi. So she's on now, I'm gonna pop over and say hi, and probably pop in here and there while I'm doing this video. Hi, everyone. I'll just say I'm in the middle of doing a video, but I'll be popping in and out. Mm. Yeah. So, this is Susie Overholtz, if you've, uh, never never checked her out yet, check her out, she's awesome. Um, I started around the same time, and, she's just rocking it. So, hi, everyone, I'm in the middle of a video, but I'll be popping in and out, and Hamina and Susie, I'm gonna hurt them. Mm. Alright, so I'll just put this on pause because I can hear Susie. Not that I don't wanna hear Susie, but I'll hear her when I pop in and out. Alright, back over to us. Hi again. Um, so what I would like to do today is go over some of these articles since these children have been missing, and I keep checking to make sure that they are still missing because I certainly don't wanna do this if they've been found, that'll be a blessing. Such a blessing. I honestly myself, have not been sleeping well because these children are missing. It's hard to go to bed and feel so warm under your blanket and know that it's raining out and it's cold out. On one, news station I was listening to, they said we haven't had below 0 temperatures yet. Well, that's not so because I do believe it was the first night they were missing. I'm pretty sure it did go below 0 and it was a terrible storm out, rainstorm. It was raining bad and windy, terrible, terrible. And apparently I've come to know that uh since last night that the youngest out of these 2 children apparently only has a pull-up on and his rubber boots, um, which, I picture my son when I think of that because my youngest son, he you couldn't get his rubber boots off him. So, in the summer, in the heat, when I just let them, my 2 babies, when they were babies, just run around in their diaper. He'd be running around in his diaper and these blue and yellow rubber boots that his nana gave him, and I mean, it was the cutest thing, and I didn't care if he did that all day long. His feet were getting pretty stinky, let me tell you, but he wouldn't even take them off to go to bed, and I mean, that's what kids are like with their rubber boots. They love their rubber boots, and it just breaks my heart when you think of these 2 putting their rubber boots on and away they go out the door. And we had a child also missing no, not last year. It was a few years ago. We had a lady who went missing last year and she's never been found. Um, or located, I should say. Yeah, the little fella, it was in Truro, the next county over, and same thing. He put his rubber boots on and away he went. They found his rubber boots, but they've never ever located him. And they found his rubber boots by a river, so it's very sad. Um, so yeah, I just want to check the update here to make sure because the last update I saw when I looked before I got ready here was, it said 45 minutes ago, and they had not been located yet. Yeah. Yeah. So there are some, of course, when anything like this happens, people become skeptical and start to wonder, did something nefarious take place? Which, I mean, is never 100% out of the realm of things. Um, when something happens to an adult, the first thing that's looked at is a partner or ex-partners, and spouses. So I mean, if I went missing today, well, the first thing police, law enforcement are going to pay attention to would obviously be my spouse. So there's that. But I mean, obviously, when anything like this happens, we can't say that that's not totally so. But we also have to be careful with our words and what we're posting, and how aggressive we are in saying those things. Um, of course, nobody's ever totally ruling that out, and I'm sure law enforcement is not either. They're not immune to things that can happen. They're the ones dealing with it. So there's that. Um, so I'm just going to go through a few things here. These are some articles that I pulled up, uh, that from when this first very started. Um, so from when it very first started, sorry. So this is in the early stages, and I mean, I know it's only the fifth so far, but I mean, I just wish they've been found by now. It's heartbreaking. Like I said, I'm not sleeping well because of it, because you're tucked in a nice warm bed, you're waking up through the night and you're checking for updates, hoping, crossing your fingers, did they find them? And every time I check when I wake up, no, they didn't find them. So it's heartbreaking. Um and then to learn that he only has a diaper on, it's just sad. So, I'm going to share this with you. You guys can see these. So, this is one of the first articles that came out regarding the missing children. We just want them home safe. Mother of missing children in Nova Scotia's Pictou County pleads for safe return. I'm going to go back over to that so I can move it around and read for you. Make sure we're on the same one. Yeah. So, the mother of two missing children in Nova Scotia's Pictou County is pleading for their safe return. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were last seen on Garlock. I always have a bad habit of saying garlic. Garlock Road. And in my first video, my quick video I did to state that these children were missing, I said lake, and that's because there is a lake there, and a lot of people do refer to that area as Garlock Lake. We're last seen on Garlock Road and Lansdowne Station around 10 a.m. Friday. After 24 hours, the two still have not been found. We just want them home as soon as possible, said their mother, and I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Malaya Brooks Murray. She told CTV News when she woke up Friday, and these are the things that people are paying attention to. So this is one of the first news articles that came out, and as you can see, it states she told CTV News when she woke up Friday, she heard them playing in the next room, and she drifted back to sleep. She said they're not typically the type of kids who would go outside on their own. Well, no, probably previously, but as kids get older, they change what they do, right? And I think we all know that. Um, and I did notice some people saying, when I was reading, I never go on Facebook, but I did go on Facebook to read the comments on this situation, and a lot of people, because of the little boy who had went missing in Truro around the same time of year, and then we had a lady go missing last year around the same time of year, and um, now these children, same time of year. And I bet you if you look back at, last year, I know there was a man that went missing around this time of year, as well as the woman who had went missing. And I can tell you why that happens. It's not really suspicious. It's because it's spring, and children and adults who are suffering from types of dementia, when the weather becomes nice and it's starting to warm up a little bit outside, and you know you can go outside without a winter jacket and just your shirt, and the birds are chirping and the trees are starting to bloom. That is when you will see an increase in wandering. And I can tell you from working in geriatrics for a great portion of my career, that's very common. It's just, to them, it's okay to go outside now. So it's a high time of year for wandering for children and for adults suffering types of dementia. And something I learned in training I took one time is that it's not uncommon as well for children and those with dementia, with Alzheimer's type dementia and other types of dementia, to walk in a straight line distance. Um, now, um, or to focus in on something. So, if they can see something off in the distance, and I hate to say it, but like a body of water, that will catch their attention, and they can walk in a straight line distance towards that water or whatever the case may be. And it could be a road, it could be, at the end of their road where the kids are. Maybe there's another connecting road, and they focus in on that and they walk that straight line distance. And a perfect example of that is the lady who did go missing last year, who didn't go the right way to go home. She come out of the park that she usually walks at, and she was seen at the park. And when she came out of the park, she instead walked a straight line distance. So, and she continued and she walked a long distance, and they know she made it to the landfill because she was caught on camera there. There's cameras there. And so they thought they may find her there. And that's where they did the search, ground search and rescue, and they never found her. And they eventually called off the search. And many, of us in the community thought, well, and mind you, this is very close to the highway as well, like extremely close, like just feet away. Now, mind you, uh, uh, yeah, we all kind of thought, well, when summer comes, there will be a smell if she's, around there, there will be a smell and she'll probably be found then, but she wasn't. And then you have the fact that it is by um, the with where all the garbage is, where all the worst smells are, right? So yeah. So anyways, that's just an example of why this is more of a high time for people to go missing or to wander off, really, and to want to be outside. And that straight line distance example. So yeah. So she told CTV News when she woke up Friday. Yeah, she heard them playing in the next room and she drifted back to sleep. She said they're not typically the type of kids who would go outside on their own. So we just talked about that. We always make sure that they're out there. Sorry. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. Must be very quiet. Now my experience with sliding doors is that they can be quite heavy and they make quite a noise when you have to pull them open. But there's new stuff out there, and yeah, maybe it's light and opens very easily. And they were outside, okay, when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, said Brooks Murray. So, this is one of the things a lot of people are talking about on Facebook in the community. They're very upset about this. And also, Lil apparently they were said to have been sick by the mother, and, um, and that is in another article somewhere that I couldn't find. Actually, maybe it's further down in this one because I didn't read this whole one yet. And so people are upset, saying, "Well, if your kids were outside, why didn't you get up to check to see what they were wearing? Why was he outside only in a diaper?" And if, you know, Lily wasn't in school because she was sick, because she hadn't been in sick, or sorry, she hadn't been in school all week. Well, why was she outside playing then? And why wouldn't you have checked to see what they had on? So these are some of the things being said, questions, and you know, I'm sure the police do have those questions as well. But they're in the first stages of things, and we just have to let them do what they're doing and see where this goes. She said she and her partner Daniel then began looking for them. In quotations, we get up and look outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them, and I instantly just called 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. She told CTV News there were footprints in the driveway. Now, this is the other thing. She told CTV News there was footprints in the driveway leading toward the road Friday. She said people have searched every nook and cranny and said the two should have been found by now. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. Oh my God. And it would be. I mean, here you are sitting in a nice, toasty, warm house, and your children are out in the cold. It would drive you insane. It would drive me insane. I just can't imagine. And I don't want to go another night without them. Yeah. Brooks Murray said. And that's the mom. So any information Any information is needed because at this point we're scared and we don't know what to do, said Brooks Murray. Police described Lily Sullivan as having, and I showed you what they look like, and there's their rain boots. And again, that just breaks my heart. Little kids in their rain boots, they just love them. So there's an active search going on, and the active search continues into today. Okay. So here's another one. There was something else I wanted to. She told me to write and we always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just slide out the sliding door, and we can't hear. She said she and her partner looking for them. No, I think that was it. She told CTV News. Oh, the footprints. And that, yeah, so that's another thing on Facebook that people are commenting about. Well, it's been raining here. I mean, today it's nice. And the driveway out here might be dry. I don't know, because yesterday, I believe, it was raining off and on. But at this point, when this was stated, we were getting quite a bit of rain. Obviously, the little ones put their rubbers on. Yeah, so they're questioning that. Well, how could you see footprints in the driveway? It's a gravel driveway, but there could be mud. There could be some mucky areas in that driveway, and perhaps they stepped on some mucky areas. So, don't know, right? That's another thing that people are stating on Facebook. Okay. We just want them home. Mother of missing children in Nova Scotia, Pictou County pleads for their safe return. The mother of 2 missing children in Nova Scotia's Pictou County is pleading for their safe return. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were last seen on Garlock Road in Lansdowne Station around 10 a.m. Friday. After 24 hours, the 2 still have not been found. We just want them home as soon as possible. And their mother, Malaya, I wish I knew how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. Malaya? I'm going with Malaya. She told CTV News there were footprints in the driveway leading toward the road Friday. She said people have searched every nook and cranny and said the 2 should. Is that the one I just read? I think it is. Sorry if it is. Multiple agencies. There's one where it says about the dogs. The police discovered multiple agencies. Brooke Murray said police dogs were out once again Saturday morning in drones and helicopters. There's one article where it says the police dogs, the scent took them to the end of the driveway and it ended there. That might be why I have this one up too. Okay, so on to the next one. Oh, I think that's just the picture of them. It's a good picture. Oh, no. I'm so sorry, guys. I did the usual thing I do and forgot to. That's okay. I read them all. I just have to switch over. Gotta get used to doing this, you know? The more videos I do, the more I'll get used to it. So this one has that picture. Good picture of them. Nice big picture. Okay, so this is a video of the mom speaking.
I want to hold them. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing, and I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued, not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Sad. That's sad. She seems pretty upset. As a mom would be, right? That was the one I just did. No. Oh, that's right. Why wasn't there an Amber Alert? So this is just this is what I looked up before I came upstairs to my she room and to see if they were still uh, not located yet. And yeah, and that just was the update at that time, and it had come out. It was like 30 or 45 minutes ago. Um, and her favorite color must be pink because she always seems to have some pink on. My God, they're cute kids. So cute. Yeah. So that's just telling us that today, yes, they're still missing. Okay. So this is about the alert. People are really up, and I'm upset about this. I don't understand this because until it is, to me, you do not rule anything out. Um, and you know, if the dog picked up a scent and it took them out to the road and then it stopped, um, you can't rule out anything, even otherwise. Like it just should never ever be ruled out. To me, go the extreme and until you know different. So I mean, if you're starting to, if you find his diaper in the woods or a boot, and oh, okay, this is where they went, then you can pretty much kind of assume that no, they were not abducted. But to me, at first, everything should be assumed as a possibility, just as I was saying, with the parents, which I'm not saying they did anything, the mom and the stepdad. I'm just saying that it's no different if I went missing today. My husband obviously would be thought of as that something nefarious went on there. But nothing should ever be ruled out, is my point. Anyway, so we'll go to this. So, two children in Nova Scotia are missing. Why wasn't an Amber Alert sent out? Very good. I mean, eventually they did put an emergency alert out for the province, but that should have been done the first day. The very first day. Like what? Why? Why wouldn't you do that? It's not like it's going to cost you thousands of dollars and uh which to me money should never be looked at in any no matter what, but like what's the deal? Put the alert out. Um and then do your search in the woods. But I mean, you just don't know. You shouldn't just automatically rule anything out. But this is what frustrates me, excuse me, about things that go on around here. Um I shouldn't say things that go on around here, but the law, the way things are, the way processes are with things like this, it's frustrating. And it's not just me, everyone feels it. There's a lot being said about it. Okay, so the search for two children missing in Pictou County entered a fourth day Monday. Lily Sullivan, 6, and Jack Sullivan, 4, were reported missing from their home on the Garlic Road in Lansdowne Station on 10 a.m. Friday. It's believed they wandered away from the home on the Garlock Road. There continues to be no evidence to suggest that the children were abducted. Read a statement, but what evidence is there to show that they weren't abducted? I just don't understand that. Like, I don't understand that. But anyways, again, if I went missing today and there's no, anyways, I'm not even going to get into it. I think y'all get where I'm going with it. Uh, can he that the children? There's no evidence to suggest that the children were abducted. So I guess evidence would be a witness saying, I saw so and so grab them and throw them in the back of a car. So, you know, if you don't see that or they don't have that, then, you're lost. You're lost in the woods somewhere. So that's a statement from the RCMP. As the search continues, here is some information on the various alerts that can be sent to help find missing people. What alerts have been sent out? And that's the other thing, and this is twice now I've noticed that the RCMP have done this. They will backdate their alerts. So, I'm very well aware of when I get that alert on my phone, and it wasn't the day that they went missing, but they will say that they put out an alert, on the day that the children went missing, and actually in that same statement then say, it's almost like the truth with the lie, because they'll say, alert was put out on the day the children went missing, and and then in the next statement, they will say what date and time it was, and it wasn't that day. So it's a little bizarre. Um, and most of when they're talking to the police office or doing interviews, it's very frustrating to watch these interviews and to read the information because it's all about them. And I'm not saying that what they're doing isn't hard work and that, yeah, they're getting wet, they're getting ticks on them, they're going over in their ankles. But do you think we don't know that? Do you think people don't know that when there's people out in the woods doing a search and rescue, that these are things that you have to deal with? That's not what the news article is about. The news article's heading isn't how hard it is for search and rescue people. It should be about these children. Um, and I did notice because a lot of people are getting frustrated with that as well. Like I don't care somebody went over in their ankle. Like I get injured all the time as a nurse when I was at work. Like it's not about me at work and me ramming my toe into the back of a wheelchair stopper and ripping my toenail off. Like these are things that happen while you're at work. It's not about that. So, um, you know, the news needs to be more focused on these kids, not, that somebody went over on their ankle or found a tick on them or like, stop it already. Why wasn't an Amber Alert sent out? The mother of the missing children, Malaya Brooks Murray, asked for an Amber Alert in a social media post. And that was when I put out my first little video I put out there about the missing children. I don't know if we call it an Amber Alert in Canada. That I know that started, we all use that term because, of course, it sticks and for some reason, I know, this started because of a child, a little girl named Amber, but for some reason, that is the most appropriate name that could have ever went with that because of, we use the word amber for traffic and things like that. So to me, I think of, whoa, pause, take a look around, um, stop and pay attention to what's going on right now because there's a missing child. So, we all use that term because it seems to fit so well with the situation that's going on. But I do believe, law wise, law enforcement wise, they, I don't know if they actually call it an Amber Alert, but, anyways, just to let people know that they did finally put an alert out, throughout the province, which I, in my first video did call an Amber Alert because I do believe that's the way Amber Alerts work. There's stages, and I think that is the first stage that it does go, it would be province-wide, or if in the States, it would be, statewide, and then from there moves on. So she said, I want an Amber Alert for my children. I want my babies home, said Brooks Murray in the post. In an RCMP statement, they said there wasn't an Amber Alert because they believed the children wandered off and weren't abducted. Well, again, who are they? Again, like nobody, and I mean, maybe they found stuff and they're being quiet. Maybe they did find a boot or the baby's diaper. We don't know. Maybe they can't say these things in case they do find something else. That 1% of something else that could have happened. Um, and maybe they can't say, I don't know, but maybe there is something that is truly leading them to believe that no, the children were not abducted. So, but if that's not so, and they're just willy-nilly, well, no, there's woods here. They wandered out. They must have went in the wood. No, that's not right. That's not right. So why wasn't an Amber Alert sent out? Oh, sorry, that's the why alert. Okay. Broadcast. As the children had not a broadcast intrusive alert is what they call it there that went provincial. Province. Well, yeah, Amber Alert because this is okay. Who is considered a vulnerable person? Missing person. A vulnerable missing person often relies on others for care, support, or financial assistance. This dependent can stem from various factors, including age, children, elderly, physical or mental disabilities, or other conditions. What is a broadcast intrusive alert? A broadcast intrusive alert system is a component of Canada's emergency communication infrastructure designed to reach the public instantly and indiscriminately in times of crisis. So that's what was put out through the province here. How is a BI report disseminated? BI alert systems, and that's the broadcast intrusive alert. BI alert system leverage several communication channels, radio and television broadcasts, emergency alerts, okay, so I guess radio and television. So I guess that's why they're able to say that on the first day that they did put emergency alert out, because it was on the radio and the television. But they should have put the alert out that you get on your phone. And anybody from Nova Scotia or even near Nova Scotia, or probably all through Canada, would remember what happened here a few years ago when someone unalived several people throughout different areas in Nova Scotia. He was dressed as an RCMP officer, and alerts were not put out. And alerts were not put out when they should have been put out to warn people. There would have been lives saved. And things, I thought, changed for the better after that. Sometimes things seem to change for the better for a little bit because, when other people have gone missing and things have happened since then, the alerts have been coming out so quick. I don't know why we went back to now with this, an alert not being put out the first day. And when I say alert, I'm not talking TV and news as apparently they are, which I just learned. I'm talking about the alert that you get on your device. Yeah. And what happened with the other situation with the Mountie, the individual impersonating an RCMP officer, they had put it on Twitter. I believe it was Twitter. It was one of those things, which not many people were connected to. They have a Facebook page. I'm talking about the RCMP. Anyways, that was a whole terrible situation. And things did change for the better for a little bit. And now we have this situation where, I mean, people are upset again. Why wasn't the alert put out to devices on the first day? So, what is an Amber Alert? An Amber Alert system provides the public with immediate and up to date. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I finished. How is the BI report disseminated? Radio and television broadcast emergency alerts, interrupt programming to deliver urgent warnings. This ensures that listeners and viewers receive the alert in real time. And I don't think that happened, but it was on the news. Digital display road signs. Oh, wow. Transit screens and other electronic displays can be used to warn motorists and pedestrians of imminent threats. Wireless alerts. Mobile phones receive emergency alerts, allowing people on the move to stay informed. So let's go through this again. Okay. So, radio and television broadcasts. Emergency alerts interrupt programming to deliver urgent warnings. Now, I don't think there was any interruption, but it was when they did their news. I guess I'd have to probably ask some people. I don't know if many people don't listen to the radio anymore. Um, People are on YouTube and doing other stuff. And television broadcasts. Well, most people have the apps now. I just it just seems like things are behind. Okay, so can I 100% say that they did that? Not really. Or that it would reach many people? Definitely not. Digital displays, road signs, transit screens, and other electronic displays can be used to warn motorists and pedestrians of imminent threats. I don't think that would be required in this situation because it's not an imminent threat. So no, there would have been no need for that, and that wouldn't have been done. Wireless alerts. Mobile phones receive emergency alerts, allowing people on the move to stay informed. Was that done the first day? Absolutely not. In fact, it wasn't done until the mother started to demand that it be done. And she was calling it an Amber Alert. Like I said, we kind of loosely use that term. What is an Amber Alert? The Amber Alert system provides the public with immediate and up-to-date information about a child abduction via widespread broadcast on television, radio, and wireless devices, and solicits the public's. I want it to say solicited. So used to saying that, and solicits the public's assistance with the safe and swift return of an abducted child. But again, the Amber Alert system provides the public with, and maybe they do call it an Amber Alert in Canada. I'm going to have to look that up. I hope they do, because that should just be what it's called. We don't need anything different here in Canada. That's the right name for it. It's very appropriate. System provides the public with immediate and up-to-date information about a child abduction view. So again, with this Amber Alert, it seems they're more focused on they 100% know it's an abduction. So a parent knows the other parent abducted a child. Someone is a witness to a child being abducted. So I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't hurt for that to go out immediate and assume all avenues should be used until you otherwise know different. To me, that would make more sense. And I have to be honest, I believe we're going to see a change in this, not because of anything I know behind the scenes, because of how most people are feeling about this and the things that people are not happy with this. So let's hope that there is enough said from the people that there will be a change. How is an Amber Alert initiated? In Canada, only law enforcement can issue an Amber Alert. They are sent out through the Alert Ready Emergency Alert System, reaching Canadians through several mediums: cell phones, television, radio. Well, I did my little thing on Facebook after the mother had requested that an Amber Alert be put out. And because I knew they weren't going to do it Canada wide, if anything, they would. So I don't know if you guys can hear this. That's Life Flight. Life Flight flies right over my house. And the one thing I was listening for, and it doesn't mean it's about the kids, but it could be. Because if these kids are found, they're going to get them into Life Flight and get them to Halifax if they're still with us. Fingers crossed. So every time, and my husband and I both, every time we hear the ambulance, we're like, oh my gosh, could that be them? Could they have found them? Or Life Flight. So that was Life Flight that just went over, if you heard it. It wasn't as loud as it usually is. Sometimes it's really loud. There's times it actually shakes the house. So let's hope. I mean, I don't want anybody to have to need Life Flight, but let's hope it's the kids and Life Flight is coming for them. Okay, so how is an Amber Alert initiated? In Canada, only there. What are the criteria? To me, I feel like that should say, what is the criteria? No, what are? But anyways, that's my backwards talking. What are the criteria for an Amber Alert? The child is under the age of 18. A belief that the child has been abducted. See, I don't like that. A belief that the child is in grave danger. Well, check. Check the first one. Check the third one. The second one, not 100%, but who cares? To me, that should be irrelevant. Information is, we're talking about children here, right? Like, come on. It should be irrelevant. Do everything you can do until you've scratched that off the list. But until it's scratched off the list, you shouldn't believe otherwise. Information is available that may help locate the child or the abductor. Description of the child, the suspect of the vehicle. Oh, wow. So you need all that information for this to qualify as an Amber Alert. And that's why I said, so what? What? So they want like a witness of a description of, the child, so and so saw the child being taken, thrown in this vehicle. So there you go. A description of the child, the suspect, the vehicle. I mean, okay. The alert should be issued within a reasonable amount of time from the moment of the abduction. How can I help? Public participation is critical to the location of missing children. Sign up for Missing Kids Alert to ensure you stay connected and informed. You will be notified when a child is missing in your area, and you will have accurate and current information about the situation. How many people are searching for the children? Over 100 searchers combed the surrounding forest Saturday and Sunday, and that number keeps varying. I'll read one article and it'll say 50. Then I'll read another, and it'll say, and I guess that's at different times that they're being asked that there's 100 out. And then for a bit, a couple of days, it seemed they were saying the number 100, but then the next day they were saying they had 150 searchers, and then it was over 150. So I do believe they're pulling more and more resources in. The other thing, all on top of these two children missing at the same time that this happened, the same day, I think, I'm not sure what the time apart from this happening was. We also had a child who went out in a kayak on the other side of the county at the lake on that side of the county, which is called Eden Lake, Garden of Eden. And there's a lot of cottages around there. And again, this is the time of year where people are starting to go outside and do things. The weather is starting to, it's a bit nicer. And we had that nice day there. A couple of nice days where we had sun. Anyways, the two kids went out, two different kayaks, siblings, and one tipped, and he went missing. So at the same time that they were looking for the kids on this end of the county, on the other end of the county, they were also doing a search and rescue for this child. I don't know if it's a guy or I don't know if it's female or male. I feel like it might be male. And not sure of the age yet, just that it was a child as well. So this was going on at the same time on both ends. So once that search and rescue, they did find the youth and who was deceased, and they were able to come over to the other end of the county and help with this. So yeah, so there is that to take into account as well as so there's more and more searchers being added to those numbers. All right, on to the next one. This is a picture of where the kids went missing from. Yep. Okay, so I wonder if I can make that bigger. There we go. So I want you to see how thick the bush is here. I mean, it is thick. And besides this being so thick, there are a lot of trees that have fallen due to a couple of very severe storms we had here. One hurricane, and then shortly after that, a severe windstorm. And I mean, it's the worst that we've most living here have seen in their lifetime, including, like my elders. And there was so many trees knocked down. As you can see, there probably was here too. You can see where they had to cut some stuff down. And so, and that is why you're hearing the ground search and rescue when they're interviewing law enforcement, the news. They are saying that there's a lot for them to step over and get through, and they're going over in their ankles and whatnot. Not that that should be the news story, because it shouldn't. But anyways, that is why they're saying that, because of all these trees that have fallen with these storms in the last few years. We lost 5 in our backyard. And so when the leaves are off the trees and you drive in certain areas that have, because they're still cleaning up, and this has been a few years and they're still cleaning, going to area, because you remember they have to get through the winter and then do the areas as much as they can until winter comes again. And so there's certain areas that haven't been cleaned up yet, and I'm telling you, it's horrific because the bush was so thick here. We don't usually have storms like that, and there was a lot of trees that eventually probably would have fallen down on their own, as they do, but they were forced to fall down because of these storms. And because we don't have storms like that gradually, there was no gradual trees that had fallen down over the years. It was like all at once. So it is pretty horrific to try to get through the bush now. And you can see how thick it is here. So that would be, it's quite a long driveway down to the road. And so I guess the dog smelt them down to the road, and the mother says she saw footprints. I don't know. It doesn't look to be. It looks a little drier when this picture was taken, because we did have one. Day was it was really sunny, so things were dried up quite a bit. But I mean, with the day that they went, was if it was wet, you might be able to see some tracks here. She said she did, so, and they led to the road. I guess I'm wondering why they think they went into the woods, because the woods are right here in the yard. And I'm trying to understand why. So they're surrounded by woods all around them. But then they walked down this long driveway out to the road and went back and then went back into the woods, or went across the street into the woods. I don't, you never know how kids are thinking. So if the parents were saying, don't you go in those woods, and they wanted to venture into the woods, perhaps they wouldn't want to do it here because they know they're not supposed to, and they don't want to get caught, right? So they may have gone down the driveway and then, decided, okay, we'll just walk down here a little bit and then go into the woods, or cross over, like I said, in a straight direction. I don't know what's across the street. And I don't know if this is on Google Maps. Most of these places around here are not on Google Maps. Now, you have to understand, we are rural. We're considered rural. This is not the city. Halifax is the city. However, within this rural community, it's even more rural, which we would call rural, living here in this rural community, because we live in town. And in town, honestly, here, like if I took a picture out my back window, you would think I was in the city. I'm like pretty much dead center in everything where I am. It's a good place to live as my husband and I age, because we're surrounded by everything. Gas station, store, grocery, drugstore, doctor, like it's just right around us. Highway, everything is right where we need it. And we can go dying very easily, very quickly. So yeah, but outside of this, then you come into these areas here, which is much more rural and pretty deep out into where the bushes, the thick bushes. Yeah. So just to give you a visual. But again, I'm curious why the kids, if they wanted to go into the woods, and the only thing I can think of is that, you're told, don't you guys go into those woods as a parent, and then they didn't want to get caught, so they come out this way. Or maybe the little fella took off in his diaper and the little sister went after him and was trying to protect him and followed him to wherever he was going. Which I guess they went back into the woods, is the law enforcement's thoughts. I don't know. My brain has questions. Okay, which one are we on here? Okay. Didn't curl my hair today. I had it done up in my twirly elastic and just pulled it out when I get up. That sun's starting to disappear. Okay. So this is basically what I was saying. You know, a lot of people are just so, it's hard not to be upset. 2 little kids out in the time of year where it's still very cold through the night. And they're not dressed well. And we're into the 4th day. So now you're looking at food, water, warmth. So, yeah. So Nova Scotia community consumed with worry as as search for missing children enters 4th day. An exhaustive search continued for the 4th day on Monday for 2 young children believed to have wandered away from their home in rural northeastern Nova Scotia. Lansdowne Station, an exhaustive search continued for the 4th day Monday for 2 young children believed to have wandered away from their home in rural. Okay, we don't have to keep reading that. I already stated 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan haven't been seen since 10 a.m. Friday. So you can see, there they are, cute as a button, the 2 of them. A short update Monday, RCMP Corporal Carly McCann said that over the last 3 days, ground teams have meticulously searched several kilometers in the area where the children were last seen. Searchers are diligently keeping track of which specific sections of the ground have been covered and are applying their specialized skills to allow the searchers on scene to stay safe. See, they keep just wanting to talk about. Anyways, trained civilians from across the province are involved in the search and have been combing a heavily wooded area around Garlock Lake. I'm going to keep doing that, Garlock Road, where the children's family's home is located. A helicopter and several drones were also assisting in the search. McCann said police are asking the public to stay away from the area to allow the trained searchers to do their work. And that's another thing that upsets people. It upsets me a little bit, and maybe we're all wrong. But I just feel circumstances like this, I mean, you put volunteers with a trained individual. Why are you turning volunteers away? You have all these trained people out there. Well, you should have volunteers in a group with each of those trained individuals to search, to cover more ground. But anyways, these are kids. Again, these are kids we're talking about. And if you believe they are in those woods, then why not do that to cover more ground? Municipality of Pictou County, Donald Parker reached on the phone on his way to the search site. Okay, municipality of Pictou County, Donald Parker reached on the phone on his way to the search site, said the community is consumed with worry about the children. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm losing sleep. I did get a better sleep last night, but yeah, I was so exhausted yesterday because I'm not sleeping well. I can't help but not think that I'm warm, I'm in my toasty bed, and these poor little kids are out in the cold. It's driving me crazy. We're all very concerned, very worried. We got 2 little ones missing. That's all that's on everybody's minds out there, he said. They've all, and this is all quotes in case you can't see it. I'm just reading how it's quoted. His statement. They've all got all kinds of search and rescue teams. They're doing everything they possibly can to find those children. Um, and they are quoting what he's saying, but I think he's probably so upset he's kind of putting some extra words in there. And anyways, but so far, no luck. So we're hoping and praying for the best here. It's all we can do, and that is all we can do. If we're not allowed, I mean, because of my condition, I couldn't go out, but I know my son certainly would. My husband's working, but I know he would. Like, if they opened it up, I know so many people would volunteer, and a lot of people are already somewhat have a bit of training in things like that because of other things they're into, and that's why I'm saying, like, it's just too bad they wouldn't allow those well-trained people to head a group of volunteers and get more feet on the ground. Parker said many from the community have offered to join the search. There you go. But only trained search and rescue crew are involved, which makes sense. Well, to me, it doesn't. But the community has offered up any support they need. Parker said he spoke with the missing children's mother a couple of days ago. She has a little one, maybe less than a year old, in her arms. But I believe that child actually is older than a year. It's tough. Yeah, they actually have 3 children. Well, the youngest is her and her partner's. He is a step-parent to the other 2. Maybe less than a year old in her arms. It's tough. Something that could happen to anybody, and it happened to them, he said of the disappearances. Our heart goes out to them. If you've got, he likes the word got and get a lot. If you've got grandchildren or children, I'd say give them an extra hug. Yeah, well, not only that, learn from things as well. Learn from things. You know, remember that this time of year is high time when kids are going to wander. My son did it when he was younger. He was probably 2, maybe 2.5. Maybe 2.5. Well, no, it wouldn't have been 2.5. He probably would have been 2, and my oldest was 3. And my 2-year-old got outside, and we had that home, so baby-proofed, but the baby-proof things that we had on the doorknobs, they had a little, hole, and it was actually for the parent to be able to stick 2 fingers in and open the doorknob, and that's how you would open it because of this safety thing on it. Well, my son, who was one of those children who just didn't miss a trick, he was an opportunist. Most kids that age are. They've got it all planned out, and they're waiting for the opportunity, and, which I'm sure these 2 did, as they left left that morning. They probably, again, may have had this planned out. We're not allowed to play in the woods around here. Mom and stepdad will get upset with us. So as soon as nobody's looking, we're hightailing it down this way, to go in the woods like that. That could quite possibly be what took place. So, anyways, my son got out. He got outside. He was able to get his hand in that little thing. After that, we had to go buy different door things. And so yeah, so he got out. And my other son alerted me. And when he first came to alert me, because it was so early in the morning, I was saying to him, I thought he was trying to tell me he wanted to play with his brother. And I thought he was saying that, his brother's name and that he wanted him up, but he was saying he's out. And I was saying to him, "Oh yeah, when he gets up, you can go play with him. Just snuggle here with mommy until he gets up." And anyways, no, he was trying to tell me he was out, and he was so adamant, and he was so adamant in what he was trying to tell me that my mummy brain went off, and I was like, "Oh my god, are you trying, you're saying he's outside." So I jumped up, went down into his room, and yeah, he was not in his room. And so then I thought, well, maybe he's hiding in the house, and I, checked everywhere in the house, not to be found. And so we had a swamp in our backyard, very close to where we lived, and there was uh, bulrushes, and it was a spot that may have attracted a child, and he would walk in that straight line distance if he, honed in on that. And um, that was my first thought, that he was in there. So I started walking towards that. And as I was walking towards that, I could hear a child crying. And, the pond was over this way. And I looked over this way. And there he was, a few houses up, standing there, as stiff as could be, crying for me. And I was yelling his name. So, uh, yeah, these things can happen, and just thank God he got scared enough. He got so scared he couldn't move, because then he realized he was in trouble. And as I said, he did the straight line distance, so he went behind the house and looked up, and I don't know where he thought he was gonna go, but he did the straight line distance thing and just walked straight up. So thank God he was there. I could see him. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So, a lot of it, we need to learn from these things. And um, I'm watching my son and my daughter-in-law, listening to all this and paying attention to it. And, they're the parents of my grandson. And I know that, they're learning from this. Um, my husband's coming, and I don't want him to make any noise. So stop. Don't come in. I'm making spaghetti for supper. I'll be down very soon. I'm almost done. Love you, hon. Um, our hearts go out to them. Yeah. And give your child an extra hug. So RCMP described Lily Sullivan, and they're just going through that again. Tim Houston said, all Nova Scotia is hoping for the best. And he's our MP. Out. All right, so I think we're almost done. I have one more video I want to show you, and it is of the stepfather speaking. Okay. Guess I didn't get to pop in much to check on what was going on over at Susie's, but I'll watch her video later. I usually do when I can't be in there. She's doing another one later. I'll be in that one. I hope. I have to cook supper too. Okay. So this is the father speaking. So just you saw the mother. I'm sorry, not the father, the stepfather. So you saw the mom speaking. So this is her partner, the stepfather. So we'll play this video.
This morning for 2 missing children in rural Nova Scotia. In other news today, the search continues this morning for 2 missing children in rural Nova Scotia. Crews have been combing through the woods around Pictou County since Friday when police believe they wandered away from their home. Brett Ruskin is live in Halifax. He's picking up the story for us this morning. Where do things stand today, Brett, with the search efforts?
Good morning, Heather. Yes, search efforts are continuing this morning for these 2 missing children here in Nova Scotia. So we have 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. They went missing on Friday morning. Now, we heard from the children's stepfather recently. Here's what he had to say about this situation.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
So again, the search began with family members and has now expanded to dozens of search and rescue volunteers. About 160 people were on the ground yesterday. There were dogs brought in to try to catch a scent of these 2 children. There were 8 drone units in the skies searching, as well as a couple of helicopters as well, each one of them equipped with infrared sensors and cameras looking for these children. Now, we heard from police talking about some of the challenging conditions and logistical issues that they are running into with this situation, with the kind of the situation on the ground. Here's what police had to say about this search.
With the wet weather, it makes things
We're not going to
a little more
listen to
complicated
that.
for our searchers. Given they're in the woods, it's wet, things are slippery.
That's what I'm talking about. They want to talk about how difficult it is for them. Well, that's not what the article's about, but yeah, another thing I wanted to mention was about the children. The grandmother, apparently it is the grandmother now, whether this is all true. If it's not, I'll correct it in a different video. The other video I put out, and you can tell how hesitant I kind of was when I said it, that both children are nonverbal. And I had said, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's something that's being stated by a relative on Facebook. So apparently it's the grandmother and the aunt who are stating this, but the mother saying that's not so. Well, I would certainly think the mother would know more so. But that's another thing on Facebook is so, I just feel like it's poison, but what's being said on Facebook is that why is the grandmother and the aunt saying this, but the mother's saying something different? Well, I think the mother would know better, I would think, than the aunt and the grandmother, because the children live with her. So, yeah, and there was another article there, and I thought I had that up there. I think it was the video that I just showed, and then they went into how hard it is for them doing this search that I stopped. it might have been the reading on that, where he had stated, the stepfather, that Lily had come into the room several times. And he also added that she had a backpack on. So now, in addition to possible pink clothing, her boots, apparently she may have a backpack on as well. A pink backpack. So, people are upset about that as well, on Facebook. Well, the mother said she heard them, fell back, dozed back off, but now the father's saying that no, the child was in and out of the room several times. And anyways, all kinds of stuff being said on there, as there always is about everything. So let's just really, really, if you believe in prayer, pray for the best, and hope for the best. Keep these children in your thoughts and in your prayers. Thanks everybody for watching. I know this was it's a bit of a sad one. We don't know the outcome yet. We're still waiting. The life flight that I heard, and I know it's life flight because it's the only helicopter that goes over the house. It's a certain path they take right to the hospital that's over here. So maybe that was for the children. Yeah. So fingers crossed. And I mean, if it is for the children, if it was for the children, then that means that they are quite possibly still alive if life flight is being contacted for them. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that, so I don't know. There could very well be something else that's just happened in the county. So a lot of accidents this time of year when spring is here, and that's where the saying spring fever comes from because everybody's, wanting to do this, that, and the other thing, and the accidents, things increase in accidents and stuff like this, people wandering. It's the time of year, right? All right, everybody, lots of love and positive vibes out to everyone. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe if you wish. Please hit the like. Feel free to leave comments in the comments section. And I will be back again soon. Take care, everyone.